On December 9th, 2020, the Sandy Springs Police Department received a disturbing call from a babysitter that 2-year-old Fallen Fridley, who was in her care, was unresponsive. But what the police soon discovered would lead to a story far darker than anyone could have ever imagined.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I knew right then, no matter what we had to do, we had to call the ambulance.
She has no brain function.
Oh my God, stop.
She's got bruises all over her body.
Stop.
She's got bruises all over her head. The external part of her head is swollen.
You ever thought about that?
Yeah, I thought about it.
Okay, then think about it a little bit harder.
But maybe you need to think about, you're the only person with her, and she's injured like this.
I did not hurt that little girl.
I'm not just trying to stick up for my fiance because it's my girl and my baby and my mother or anything like that. This girl does not lay her hands on these children.
Around 9 p.m. that Wednesday evening, police officers responded to the Monterey Parkway apartment of 29-year-old Kirsty Hannah Flood and 28-year-old Jeffrey Myers, only to find 2-year-old Fallen Fridley barely clinging to life in critical condition. With questions flying about what could have led to her injuries, police officers wasted no time confronting the couple for answers.
And I presume with you being fiance, you live here as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Child in common, or?
We have a child in common.
Would it be?
It's not her.
Not her?
That's
Okay.
her. That's a mutual friend of a co-worker of mine's daughter.
Okay, just staying
We're
over?
babysitting for him.
Okay.
Well, she babysits for him. She nannies for him during the week.
Okay.
And just let her stay over during the day. Or
Okay.
during the night tonight. First night ever.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I worked during the day, man, so I don't, I came home and everything was fine, and then we tried to feed her. She woke up from her nap, tried to feed her. She wouldn't eat, so we put her back down. She was breathing kind of weird, though. So I was like, well, just lay her on her side, because she had been sick, because she got our kids sick.
Right.
And her dad's been sick, so I know that, you can hear her when she breathes. So I just said, lay her on her side, and then we'll come back and check on her. And we came back and checked on her, and she's unresponsive.
Okay.
She fell, off the swing. It was like one of those dips, and she kind of fell.
Okay.
She kind of hit her head, and I was like, okay, well,
What time was this?
Like 5:30, 6 o'clock. It was when the sun was coming down. It started to come down. We were the last people at Morgan Falls.
Okay.
And we packed everything up or whatever, and then I just fed them mac and cheese and vegetables, and she wouldn't eat. And I was like, okay. So, she felt warm, so I took her clothes off or whatever, and I laid her on her side. She had no food in her mouth.
Okay.
I laid her on her side, just in case. I have 2 of the kids. I have an infant too, so I already know about all that. And I laid her on my side, and then, earlier, and also she was like this. Like doing this weird thing with her eyes, like this type of thing.
When asked, none of them could provide a clear explanation of what had happened to the girl, but claimed she had been acting strange before falling unconscious.
She was having a little trouble breathing. Put her down. They said they came out, had a cigarette, stepped out. When they came back in, found her unconscious. 6 o'clock. 5:30 to 6 o'clock. Hey, Vaughn. Sir.
Alright. Come on, baby girl. I know what you swallowed, but you got something up in there.
See it? I figured it's just over there.
It's like maybe some fruit or something, a little bit of orange. You'll let me
See if we can get it out.
When several attempts to resuscitate the little girl failed, Fallen quickly was placed into the ambulance and rushed to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta for treatment. But just as the ambulance pulled away, her parents, Kristen Fridley and Cameron Gant, called Kirsty, unaware of the nightmare unfolding around their daughter.
Who are we speaking with?
It's the mom.
That's mom. This is Miss Chris?
Yeah.
Hi, Miss Chris. This is Officer Vaughn, Sandy Springs. So right now she's with AMR. They're going to the Children's Hospital of Atlanta. It's called CHOA. I don't know, ma'am. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you that. I'm sorry. She does still have a pulse.
Please.
That I don't know, ma'am. Here, we're trying to figure that out. I'm going to hand you back to, what's your name?
Kirsty.
Miss Kirsty.
After informing Chris and Cameron to meet them at the hospital, the police officers confronted Kirsty again to better understand what had caused the baby's condition.
Okay, so you're the nanny.
She's with me 4 days a week.
Okay.
From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. 7 p.m. just depending on whatever.
So 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. or whatever time they get here. So basically a 12-hour day. Okay.
4 days a week. Yeah, she's become like a daughter of mine. I helped her mom get sober off of heroin. And we've been through a lot together.
Okay.
And my mom's been clean for years. And changed her life, but I don't know this guy that she's with.
Okay.
And, I was told that like he has a record for something to do with kids.
Okay.
That's why my kids would never go over there. My kids would never be allowed ever over there, like ever.
Okay.
I keep a close eye on her because I just want to I look at her, I'm a female. I look at her, ta-ta, make sure everything's good. I make sure everything, there's nothing but there's been a few times where she's been like, dada, dada.
Okay.
And that's a red flag to me because first of all, that's not even your dad. Second off, you've only known her for a few months, and why when I go down there you say dada?
Yeah.
And then I noticed some bruises and stuff on her.
Okay.
But her mom, I've never noticed that ever. So I'm not gonna even go there with her.
Okay.
Her mom is a fantastic woman.
Gotcha. So mom's recovering.
She's been sober
Okay.
for 2 years though.
Kirsty, a mother of two, had been a close, long-term friend of Chris, so much so that 2 years earlier, she had helped Chris through a battle with addiction. Over time, their bond grew even stronger, and when Fallen's daycare closed during COVID, Kirsty was entrusted with caring for the girl while her parents worked. This continued for 4 months, until earlier that day when, for the first time ever, Chris asked if Fallen could stay over for a sleepover.
What time does Fallon get here?
She got here at 6 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
She's been here since 6.
Okay.
So this is her first and only spend the night that she's ever slept here.
Okay.
So we, had breakfast. Then we had lunch, and then we really didn't do anything at all. Actually, we stayed inside all day, and then we went to Morgan Falls.
Okay.
And then we went to Morgan Falls around 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I can't even remember.
So the Morgan Falls Park?
Yeah, right here, down the street, playground. I was pushing, Holden is my son and Harper is my daughter in the bucket seats. And she was going down the slide and she kind of fell.
Okay.
And, when you fall and you, fall, your whole body goes off and you fall, that's what happened.
Okay, so she went down the slide. At the bottom of the slide, she came off it and fell?
Yes.
Okay.
Initially, Fallen's injuries seemed consistent with what Kirsty told the officers, but what puzzled them was that such a tragic incident had been caused by a fall from a slide.
But I don't know.
But, is it normal?
I mean,
kids will do that and then
anytime a 2-year-old is not responsive, it's not good. So, finding out why that situation is, why that child's not responsive, is the big thing. Okay? But I'll be wholeheartedly honest with you, it's not normal. So I need to know what, if anything else happened, that is important for me to know so I can tell the doctors. So is there anything else I need to tell them?
She's a good kid. She just sits there. She's quiet.
But nothing else happened?
No.
You sure?
Positive.
Okay, 'cause you seem a little unsure.
No, I'm just wondering if she's alive right now. That's
I mean,
all I'm thinking about.
They wouldn't take her to the hospital if there wasn't hope that that's going on.
Okay.
Okay? So keep that in your mind and keep holding on to that hope, okay?
I
Now,
just can't
tough questions I got to ask you.
imagine.
Hey, listen, tough questions I gotta ask you. Is there any alcohol or drug use today?
No.
Not at all?
No.
No drink with dinner, nothing like that?
I don't drink.
Okay, that's good.
What about the pipe I saw in plain view that you grabbed out here?
By this time, Chris and Cameron were already at the hospital, but despite Chris's desperate pleas, they were denied access to see their daughter. Instead, they were kept in a waiting room while doctors worked tirelessly to stabilize the little girl.
You know, obviously when things like this happen, we're concerned. Because a happy, healthy 2-year-old just doesn't happen.
Cardiac arrest.
So, I'm going to let you all just gather yourselves. I'm probably going to come back and ask you more questions as we go. But I just want to get some basic stuff from you here. We're still waiting to find out some more stuff, but if y'all just want to just relax for a little bit.
Do you know anything? The doctor said she was bruised from head to toe.
Yeah, I mean, how much have the doctors told you?
That she was really bruised up. That she's in critical condition.
She had a big bruise on her, I guess her head here. And all
her stomach.
And her stomach's like bloated real bad. I guess real big or something like that.
Okay.
And she got bruises up all down her body. I don't, she was fine this morning when we got up.
She had no bruises.
She had a scratch on her face, and she had a little bruise on her shin.
Oh yeah, a little bruise on her shin.
The scratch from the dog getting her last week, but no bruises.
Nothing like that. No.
So what? She's covered in bruises. She get.
I personally haven't seen Fallon.
Oh, okay.
Because I let the doctors do what the doctors do.
You're asking me what I know from the doctor. Okay.
Yeah, because I let the doctors do what the doctors do. I don't want to interfere with them because the most important thing is them taking care of her.
After hours of waiting, the doctor finally walked into the room, but instead of offering comfort, he pressed the distraught parents for answers about what had happened to their daughter. Confused and shaken, they recounted what they had been told, that Fallon had fallen off a slide and hit her head. The doctor, however, revealed that her injuries were far more severe and that her chances of surviving were close to impossible. Just then, Chris watched as the doctor left the room again, and everything went dark.
My report's mostly done, but unfortunately, that little girl didn't make it.
4 hours after she was brought in, Fallon's heart stopped again, and despite the medical team's relentless efforts to revive her, the monitors went silent, and Fallon Fridley was pronounced dead. When Chris was finally allowed to hold her child, something felt terribly wrong. Not only was Fallon's body purple, but Chris discovered a large bump on the back of her head. To make matters worse, an autopsy performed on the child revealed that Fallon had suffered a skull fracture along with multiple internal injuries. Her death was ultimately ruled a homicide from severe blunt force trauma. Determined to uncover the truth, Chris immediately went back to the police, convinced that Fallon's injuries couldn't have been caused by something as simple as a fall at the playground.
All right, so you dropped her off. He dropped her off at around 6:30. Did anybody call you or say? I mean, how does it normally go on a normal day?
Texts me pictures of the kids playing and tells me what the plan is for the day. If they're gonna go to a park or anything. I didn't hear from her. I texted her sometime throughout the day. I said, "How's my girl?" She said, "Good." So I got off around 4:30, and I texted her again. And how's my girl? This was the first time we were planning a sleepover because, I get off and we get home and she's got an hour before bed and then wake up and bring her right back.
When Chris called Kirsty to ask if Fallon could stay overnight, she had no reason to suspect anything unusual. After all, 2-year-old Fallon and 3-year-old Harper were inseparable, and it seemed like a normal sleepover with familiar and trusted friends. The day had gone like any other, until Chris got off work and decided to check on her daughter.
So I texted her around 4:30. She said, "We're going to Morgan Falls. My phone's dying."
Okay.
Then around 6:30, she texted me that they were home. Didn't tell me anything happened, didn't say anything, said everything was fine. And I said, "Let me FaceTime my baby girl. Just let my phone charge, give me an hour." So around 7:30, I FaceTimed her. And she was lying in the little bed. She was looking at me, but she didn't say anything. She didn't say, "Hi, Mommy. I love you." She just was staring at me. And Cameron was in the restroom. And I said, "You want to talk to Daddy? He's in the potty." And she said, "Yeah." That's the only thing she said. And then the phone disconnected. So I tried to call her back several times, text her. Didn't hear anything. Cameron called Jeff at least 2 or 3 times, and they finally answered, and they said, oh, everything's fine, sorry, phone died, she made dinner and she's sleeping. Around 9:20, I think it was, 9:30, I have to look back on the calls. She called me crying and said Fallon was just limp, and that they were working on her. I said, what are you saying? Is my baby alive? Is my baby alive? And she said, she has a pulse. So an officer picked up the phone and said the ambulance was taking her to Scottish Rite.
Chris goes on to explain that when attempts to reach the babysitter failed, Fallon's stepfather grew uneasy and even suggested that they pick up the child. Still, Chris reassured herself that everything was fine, a decision she would deeply regret.
I don't know what happened to my baby. She was hysterical, and over the phone, Cameron had the phone, I had the phone, nothing was clear, but she said something about she fell off the slide. But she didn't say that to me any time during the day. She didn't tell me it found in her head that anything was wrong. She never, I would have came and got her. I would have immediately came and got her. She didn't tell me anything. So I don't know what that, she wasn't sick. She didn't hit her head that I know of. At my house, nothing ever like that happened.
For the rest of the interview, the detectives listened as the heartbroken mother recounted everything about Fallon, including their final moments together. But as the interview came to a close, the focus shifted, and they asked about the one person who stood out in her story.
If Jeff was ever like yelled at her or something, would she tell you that?
She was just now learning to communicate. There was about a week ago, she came home with these scratches on her face and little bruises on her chin. And I asked her, see what happened. She said that the dog, she was sleeping on the bed, the dog jumped on the bed and jumped on her. And I said, Val, she said, ow, puppy. So I figured that was her telling me. And my mom has got my chihuahua. My mom's chihuahua hates my daughter, so we know we have to keep them separate. And I know none of those dogs were mean. And I honestly, I work with animals, I rescue animals, you know what I mean? So I did, things happen, And it wasn't just some bruises on her face and scratches, but nothing for me to.
And normally, if you FaceTime during the day,
She would grab the phone, mama,
and she'll start, yeah.
And I should have known then, I guess, but I thought she told me she woke her up. So I thought she just woken up and she was tired. She didn't tell me anything. She didn't say she fell. She didn't say she hit her head. She didn't tell me anything. So I had no reason to think that something was wrong.
At this point, all eyes were now on Kirsty and Jeffrey because not only were they the only people with Fallon that night, but doctors confirmed her injuries had been inflicted shortly before she was found. An investigation was launched and Kirsty Flood was taken into custody for questioning along with her boyfriend. Investigators needed to know what exactly happened that night, but they were yet to uncover just how sick and twisted the truth behind the story would soon become.
So can you tell me what happened to catch me up? Because again, that's why I'm not asking any questions, because I don't know exactly what's happening. So I just wanted to hear your side.
You guys talk already?
No, actually,
He came in late, so
yeah, I've been so busy at the hospital and doing other things that I haven't even talked to him yet.
Okay, can I ask you one question?
Mm-hmm.
How come they did this so fast?
Did what so fast?
Just let her go.
What do you mean, let her go?
They won't let it fight.
She's still at the hospital.
She's okay.
I mean, she's not doing okay, but she's still at the hospital.
She's okay.
Like I said, well, she's not doing good.
But she can't be okay.
I don't know.
She still have a heartbeat.
Heart's still beating.
God.
Heart's still beating.
God has a plan, then. If you have a heartbeat, you have a chance.
Yeah, her heart is still beating.
Thank God. Thank God. Thank God.
And Kirsty, I don't think.
What did I do? They really tell me she was gone, and
Who said that?
the officer.
No, she's not. She's not gone. Her heart's still beating.
Why did he tell me that?
Honestly, probably just miscommunication.
The detective was surprised to discover that Kirsty didn't know Fallen had passed away. However, since she was under the impression that Fallen was still alive, they decided to let her believe it, hoping this would encourage her to continue speaking truthfully.
So I have a soft spot for Fallen. That's why I charge $125 a week on a night, and that's nothing if you know the prices in daycare.
It's not expensive at all.
No, and I do it because she's a friend, and I do it because I love Fallon. I don't know Cameron very well, but I don't know him. I know a little bit. I'm trying to get to know him. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Long story short, he drops Fallon off this morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, and she stays. She goes in the room with Harper. She plays with Harper for a decent amount of the day. Her and Harper, my daughter, are like best friends.
Okay.
So they play, and then finally we end up going to the park. This is hours later.
Yep.
So for breakfast she had the cereal bar, lunch, cheese puffs. They had some goldfish, graham cracker, chocolate ones. She was eating fine. She only eats junk food, right? And at my house, we incorporate vegetables. I buy her Silk yogurt because she is non-dairy. So she primarily does, almond milk and stuff like that. So I buy her specific things that she likes. She is very, very small. I don't know if you ever noticed, but she doesn't really eat much, but when she does, it's typically junk food.
Right from the beginning of the interview, Kirsty tried to paint herself as a good person, but while she revealed how the day went, the detectives couldn't figure out why Cameron, Fallen's stepdad, was in the picture.
I have my phone. My phone died when I was out there, but I have 426, how's my girl? So we're about to go to Morgan Falls. My phone is about to die. We just pulled up. She said, tell her mommy misses her. And then here's a picture of my daughter and Colin playing together, besties.
Yeah.
Right? So I also I'm on the floor. The reason why I'm right here is because I'm on the floor with my infant. I always bring like a little picnic thing, snacks, blanket, the whole nine. And you got 3, you try to monitor it all. So anyways, I put both the babies on the swing, my babies, on the bucket swings. And then she goes down the slide, falls off, and when you go down a slide and you drop, that's what happened. And I was telling him she dropped, but I don't know if that had anything to do with anything. You know what I mean?
Did she cry at all?
When she's such the most quiet baby, and that is alarming in situations like at home.
Despite the situation she now found herself in, Kirsty, for some reason, maintained that Fallen had fallen off the slide, unaware that the autopsy had revealed otherwise. However, the detective remained silent about this, instead allowing Kirsty to narrate the events leading up to her calling the police.
But then, like, on the bottom of the slide, there's the bottom of the slide, and then you could, like, when you lift your head up, the only thing I could think of is there maybe, because I noticed, like, a little bit of red right here. It's nothing serious, it's like a little bit of red. But that was it. I'm like, there's nothing serious enough to where it would be like, oh my gosh, like I need to rush her to the hospital because internal bleeding. You know what I mean? Like my child fell off the top of the playground. But a huge difference.
Yeah.
So I played it like it was. You know what I mean? Went home, laid her down. She wanted to lay down for a minute. So I laid her down. She has her own bed, actually, at my house. I have a bed for my daughter, and I have a bed for her. Laid her down next to her, and then cooked dinner. I cooked mac and cheese and vegetables.
Was she playing at the house when I got back? Was she okay then?
She was playing for like a second, and then when she wanted to go lay down. So in my daughter's room, she has a TV. She has all this stuff they just love. So that's like their little spot, and then they have a playroom too. She went and laid down, and then just for a minute, and then I was like, Fallon, are you hungry? You want dinner? And she ran. You can ask Jeff. I'm not yelling so he doesn't think. She ran to the kitchen. I'm thinking, oh, baby, she's hungry. She feels good. She's great. She made me lay down for a second. Whatever, we're cool. And then doesn't eat. And I'm thinking, oh, that's weird. You know what I mean? You were just so hungry. I'm not giving you candy, you know? I'm not just going to keep giving you candy. And, like, that's like, I think what her parents might do, say, it's just easy, your way out is candy and chips.
Mm-hmm. Just to make it easy, just to get the food in them. Yeah, I get it.
And I'm overweight.
It's not great parenting, but hey.
No, I get it too, but I'm overweight and I don't want to do it to my kids. So basically I'm just trying to like have healthy options at my house.
Okay, cool.
So anyway, she didn't eat. Harper, I ended up giving all the food to my dog. I literally just threw it. She had like 2 bites. She had like 2 bites. I think she had like the veggies and then maybe 1 shell of a noodle.
Barely anything.
And then the rest I just gave to my pet because I ran out of dog food and
it happens.
I couldn't go to the store. I was trying to cook dinner, trying to do all this. Didn't want to leave her. So we stepped outside for 5 minutes. Whatever, 10 minutes, smoke stay. I don't even know how long it was. Not long at all. Go back in there and check on her, and she's looking like this. I'm like, what is that about?
Yeah.
Like, so my daughter has a unicorn. I built her like a unicorn. You saw it, the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And she was just like this.
Up to this point, Kirsty insisted the only thing that was wrong with the baby was that she had refused to eat and appeared strange. However, as she described the rest of the evening, that was when things started to get more twisted.
She was, and then that's when y'all called, when she had the distant look, I guess, that when you called the ambulance?
She had the distant look. I put her in the tub because shell shock. You know what I mean? That cold water.
Yep.
Sometimes can, just do the trick, just real fast. So she was in her diaper and even still in her socks. And because I don't want to shell shock her too bad.
Like, just put her in the tub with her socks and diaper?
Like literally like sat her down like this, shine the cold water, held her back, like the back of her neck like this, and nothing. Didn't even respond to the water.
For some reason, Kirsty resorted to submerging an unresponsive 2-year-old in a cold bath, an act with no basis in any medical procedure. But what was more surprising was the number of times Kirsty repeatedly tried to shift the blame away from herself.
So she just lost consciousness?
Yeah.
You're saying that after she had fallen in at the park?
Well, her dad just told me he had the flu yesterday. Or on Monday.
Okay.
And she's been sick.
Okay.
So I say that to say she's been sick because she got my 8-month-old son sick, my daughter sick, all of us sick. You know how that goes. Yeah. And that was a couple weeks ago, but they said it was a sinus infection. And then on Monday he calls me. I don't watch her on Mondays. Calls me around 8 in the morning or whatever. He's like, hey, can you watch Fallon? I need to go to the hospital. I feel like I have, or I feel like I'm super sick, and then apparently he had the flu. And then he drops her back off at my house, and I'm just thinking I don't even know. You know what I mean? I just wouldn't do that. We don't think the same.
Yeah.
He's also on methadone. So, he no judgment at all, but I just know that your mental state, if you're on methadone every single day, is not going to be the same as it would be if you weren't.
Yeah.
Methadone is a synthetic heroin. They need to take that off the street. I don't know why the doctors still give that out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It quickly became clear that Kirsty was somehow trying everything in her power to paint Cameron as the bad guy. However, the detective soon grew tired of her games and decided it was time to get serious with her. After reading her Miranda rights, they wasted no time letting her know just how grave the situation had become.
Do you want to know all the issues that she has?
Yes.
Okay. According to the doctors in the ER,
Yes.
she has a skull fracture.
A what?
A skull fracture. Her brain is swollen and bleeding. She also has internal bleeding, where she has, according to the doctor, let's see here, her belly is full of blood. She's got an injury to her liver, her spleen, and her colon, and is still actively bleeding inside. She has no brain function.
Oh my God, stop.
She's got bruises all over her body.
Stop.
She's got bruises all over her head. The external part of her head is swollen. She has bruises literally all around her head. I can show you pictures.
So that picture you showed me just a few minutes ago, she doesn't look like that right now.
She is bad.
Slowly, Kirsty began to grasp the gravity of her situation as she was confronted with the fact that she and Jeffrey were the last ones with Fallen when her injuries occurred. But instead of coming out with the truth, Kirsty only seemed to dig a deeper hole for herself.
From what you told me, the only thing that happened to her today was the fall off the slide at Morgan Falls Park, where that ground is soft and squishy and bouncy. Because they made it that way so kids don't technically get hurt when they fall.
Right.
The injuries that this child has, according to the doctor, are acute, which means they have just recently happened.
There was absolutely no way that just happened.
So these injuries this child has are not consistent with what you're telling me happened. The injuries this child has are from some severe abuse or injury.
How long have you had her today? Just as a
Oh my, I can't even believe. How exactly? How would that even have happened?
You tell me, because we weren't there. Were you the only one with the child today?
I was around a bunch of people at the park.
No, when did you get the child today?
Were you caring for the child by yourself today?
I always cared for her by myself, always.
Okay.
Every day. There's never been an issue, ever.
What time today did you get her? Or yesterday now?
6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, you had her all day long?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something's happened that we're not being told has happened. Because those injuries just don't appear.
There is absolutely nothing that I would ever do to a child, first and foremost. Second off, if you ever look at my kids, they've never been touched, and they never will be. I don't believe in violence. So the fact that that's an acute thing that just happened.
And you didn't notice any of these injuries on the child beforehand?
I grabbed him the minute I saw him and called the ambulance. Does that add up to you? In your head, does that add up to you?
Lots of crazy things can happen.
If you're concerned about something and the first thing you do is grab somebody and call the ambulance.
Contrary to Kirsty's claims, it was worth noting that this wasn't her first encounter with the law. Back in 2010, she was arrested for battery and criminal trespass, and in 2012, a traffic violation led to her arrest for possessing drugs.
I don't understand where there would be a confusion about that.
Well, the confusion is the kid has injuries, severe injuries that she might not make it through the night, that we're saying just appeared out of nowhere. How is that not confusing?
No, that is extremely confusing, and the only thing that I could even think of is if she tripped walking with Harper on cement. That's it.
Those injuries
are minute, right? They're minute. Those are little.
No, the injuries she has are not little.
No, that's what I'm saying.
So her tripping and falling would not cause those injuries. Her skull is broken. Her skull is fractured.
I don't even understand.
Did Jeffrey do something?
Absolutely not.
So tell me how this happened.
Neither of us are violent people.
Basically, if you've got the kid, the reason I'm asking, from 6 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
The baby at 6 roughly, almost 24 hours ago, because we're almost working on 2 in the morning. A child with a fractured skull is not going to just make it through the day and then just decide by the end of the afternoon that she's sick.
Because you're saying during the whole day, she's doing fine, everything's great, nothing's going on. All of a sudden at dinner time, she starts acting weird.
That's what doesn't make sense to us. Because the fractured
Her and Harper played in the room all day long. I had that in a text message.
Okay.
And that's exactly what I said. Yes, and I watched my son. I also have live footage in my home.
Okay.
Do you have access to that?
I do.
Okay. What's it recorded on?
Wise.
Wise, okay, I don't know that one.
It's WYZE. The fact that she has all of that is heartbreaking, but the fact that any of that would ever happen under my watch in my life, it would never happen. But my thing is, and I can look at you and you probably done this a million times or whatever, I didn't touch her. I would never hurt her. Literally. I've given her, ask her mom, I just bought her a kitchen. I literally give her all Harper's clothes, all her hand-me-downs. I feed her, I bathe her every day. Her mom never has to do any of those things. I do all of it.
Yep.
Because I love her.
Yep.
So like, you telling me this is basically like you telling me that I'm almost kind of like losing potentially, even though I'm not going to claim that like a chop.
Despite the overwhelming evidence suggesting otherwise, Kirsty continued to insist she was an exceptional babysitter. But when she realized that her story wasn't holding up, she began devising new ways to persuade the detectives of her innocence.
It's difficult, and I know sometimes it's easy just to lose your cool and things happen, and I get it. I just need to know.
But I would never lose my cool on that level. I would never lose my cool on that level. I don't even have that type of hatred in my heart.
I don't think it's a hatred thing. I think maybe things just get out of hand.
I mean, literally, the only thing I could think of, and this is like far-fetched, but I know Harper would have probably came and told me, unless they were, just playing and Harper just kind of played big sister and handled it herself or whatever, but, maybe Grace jumped on her. And the only thing is that I could think of is that in the hallway, vinyl, it's vinyl, it's shit. The whole apartment is shit. I mean, you see how I'm under a whole court case with them because of how it's living and how dangerous it is. Because Fallon actually almost stepped on, there was a flipboard underneath the sink. She almost stepped on the nail. An old rusty ass nail. You know what I mean? And it's like, there's just stuff everywhere. But that's the only thing that I could think of would be where,
So far, Kirsty has shifted the blame from the playground side to Fallen's stepfather, her dog, Grace, and now her allegedly dangerous house. And in an attempt to vindicate herself, Kirsty revealed that she had surveillance cameras in her home that would support her claims. What she didn't know was that this would eventually become what the detectives needed to break the case wide open.
There's me.
And here she is.
Making blades.
And there goes Fallon, giving him a hug.
Yep, see, I told you. Oh, as well, I'm telling you. It's mind blowing. Look at her.
Tiny show in there.
This is 19:56:25. What is
Okay,
that?
so almost 8 o'clock.
Military time. See? Try it again. She wouldn't do it. Took her back again. See, it's resilient. Like, I tried. That should show you right there how much I care about this kid. I'm like, I don't want you to go to bed hungry. Because she just, I don't know how her mom does it at their house. If they don't feed, I don't get it. I don't get if they just give them candy and chips, but. So I tried again. And then that's when I went to the back, I guess. That's when me and him both went to the back to check on her. Because I was like, she's looking kind of weird. She's not eating. She's, you know what I mean? And then he suggested the bathroom real fast. And then I got her in a Moana towel and I literally just rocked her. And rocked her. And rocked her. And rocked her. And then I started freaking out. My mother instinct started kicking in. I was like, something's not right. Something's all right. You know what I mean? And then that's when we called the ambulance.
With Kirsty's surveillance, the detectives concluded that whatever happened to Fallen clearly occurred right around 8 p.m. But it was as if Kirsty had no idea that her attempts at proving her innocence were only bringing the detectives closer to finding the truth.
But say we want to get a copy of the video from today.
What? Let me get back to you on that. Give me a second to kind of.
Do you know what your noise of calibration is? Like you usually or whatever?
I would have to get that for you. Yeah, I just showed you the full video.
Yeah, but
I don't want you accessing that way you could like literally watch me at any time.
Well, all I want is from the time, like from 6 a.m. until.
I just showed you the whole thing.
Well, we saw part of it, but when we're scrolling through, it's choppy because we're not actually being able to watch the whole thing. You hear what I'm saying?
We just did this.
We did, and when we stopped scrolling for dinner time, it went by itself, and it showed us. We actually saw the video playing.
The detectives requested a copy of the video to piece together what happened to Fallen, but Kirsty, for some reason, was convinced it wasn't necessary. Although she eventually agreed to email it later, her evasiveness pushed the detectives to confront her directly.
I don't know right now, and here's why we're still here. It's because she has all these injuries. And the person she was with today is you. And I need to know, and I need to find out how she got all these injuries. And I get we're watching the video. This is what makes everything confusing. Because these injuries just didn't happen out of nowhere. These injuries happened somehow. You're the only person that was with her all day.
That's not even fair. You cannot pin that on me.
I'm not pinning anything on anyone.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what happened.
Wow. I have children, I have dogs, I have a whole life.
And I understand that.
No, I don't think you do.
I do.
She's about to take my car and my keys.
No, she's not taking your car.
Where is she going with my stuff?
She came to get the key to lock up the house.
Why?
Because we served a search warrant at your house.
For what?
Because it's a high possibility this child was injured at your home.
And you didn't find anything, did you?
I don't know. I'm not there.
Wow.
But you have to look at it. Well, if you were in my shoes,
I can't believe you right now. You really just flipped the table. That's what y'all do, don't you?
If you were in my shoes, what would you think?
I'm not under arrest.
Right now you're detained.
I'm not under arrest.
Right now you're detained.
Well, I'm about to call a lawyer then if you're going to play this game.
Okay, you're calling a lawyer?
You're not going to keep me here. I have children I have to go take care of. You understand that?
Right now you are detained.
I have children.
I understand that.
Where's Jeff?
He's over there. He's in the other room.
So, what are you saying?
I'm trying to figure out who hurt this child.
Neither of us hurt this child. Maybe you should
How did this child get injured then?
I don't know how she
was with you
You
all
just
day.
saw videos of her running around and fine. What else
And
do
I
you
get
need?
that video doesn't show the whole other part of the house.
Why else? Okay, if she's so injured, why would she be running around like that? Have you ever thought about that? An acute injury? Don't you think she would be laying down?
So you tell me.
If she was hurt, wouldn't she be laying down?
What could have happened when you took her off screen?
So you think I took her off screen, went and beat her?
I don't know. I need to know.
Broke her skull.
She's got a fractured skull.
Bled her inside.
And she might not make it through the night.
And then brought her back out to feed her. They were playing all day in there. I even have a text message that said they were playing all day. Now we're about to go to the park.
Yeah.
I said in her room they were playing all day. Did I not? Why would I say that? What? Come on, man. Don't do this to me. Don't ruin my life.
I'm not ruining your life.
No, you're on the cusp.
I'm trying to figure out what
I'm a
happened
mother.
with this baby. I understand that.
No.
I'm trying to figure out what happened with this baby.
I did not do anything to that little girl. And you are not about to ruin my life over that.
I'm not doing that.
I'm in the midst of getting my entire record cleared from 2000, back in the day, 2010.
Okay.
I have busted my ass in life to get to where I'm at right now.
Okay.
And I have helped her mother, and I've been there for her, and I've done all of this, and you're going to sit here and you're going to tell me, do you think I hurt this little girl?
I don't know what happened with this little girl. I just know she was with you, and now she's injured to the point where she might not make it.
When Kirsty realized nothing was going her way, she desperately tried to convince the detective she was a good person. However, as the walls closed in on her, the interrogation quickly intensified.
Look at her forehead. All right? That is your picture.
Right.
Right? From today. That's from today.
Right. Right.
I don't see those bruises.
That's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. The blood.
So there's no bruises.
So you're telling me there's no bruise right there?
That one we saw, yeah. But look in the middle of her forehead. Look at her nose. There's nothing there.
You can't see that there's a hair right there.
There's nothing there. There's nothing there. I'm not making this up.
She fell off a slide at the playground after that, too.
And you said she landed on her back.
Yeah, you're trying to pull this out of...
But how did she land?
On her back.
So how would that put bruises on her forehead?
You know what else she was doing? Let me go ahead and show you what else she was doing. Since you think this is like some... I don't know what you're trying to do to me, but this is like literally...
I'm trying to get to the bottom of what happened with this child.
Well, those things, those right there, they bounce.
Mm-hmm.
There's a metal bar right there too. You ever thought about that?
Okay, did you see that happen?
Do you know that accidents happen all the time?
I do, because I have 4 kids.
Exactly my point. Then cut me some slack.
And then I also know that this injury doesn't happen just appear out of nowhere.
Exactly why my 2 kids are 100% healthy. Have you ever thought about that? You ever thought about that?
Yeah, I thought about it.
Okay, then think about it a little bit harder.
But maybe you need to think about, you're the only person with her, and she's injured like this.
I did not hurt that little girl.
What's that? You want to talk to her?
Yeah, I was just getting a couple things down.
I need to go get my children.
Okay, just give it a second. We're actually getting one other thing. We're running something through, and we'll let you know in just a second. And get you
let us know.
With the situation now beyond her control, Kirsty became so overwhelmed that she turned to her mother for comfort.
I can't even believe this. No, I'm not okay. They're trying to f me up. Yes. He's in the other room. They're trying to f my life up. They're trying to f my life up. I'm like, so can I go? Can I get my keys? Can I go get my kids? Can I go do this? He's like, we'll let you know in a minute. We'll let you know in a minute. I'm like, are you taking me to jail? Like, are you about to ruin my f***ing life?
Throughout the interrogation, Kirsty insisted she had no idea what could have happened to Fallen, even as the evidence pointed squarely at her. Frustrated, the detectives decided it was time to take more drastic actions.
Hey, Kirsten. Are you actually on the phone with someone?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
What is this?
This is a search warrant.
For what?
We're gonna seize your phone.
What?
Yep.
I can't. What?
Yep.
It's a valid search warrant, so
Valid
I'm the
search.
judge. So we need to take your phone.
So how
Here's
does...
the deal. I just called the doctor, and Fallon is dead. No lie. She's at the morgue right now.
Wow.
She's gone.
Wow.
Her injuries were that bad that they couldn't save her.
Did you just hear that? So they're seizing my phone. So, I guess, how long are you gonna have my phone for?
Probably as long as it takes for us to process it, which could be 24 hours.
Okay, so when I come back here and get it?
Yeah.
We'll contact you to release it back to you.
I have Jeffrey's number. I can call him and y'all can come back and get it then.
I actually have quite a few things I have to write down.
Well, here, let me, before you go.
I have a psychologist appointment
We're
tomorrow.
going to give you these things back, but we're not going to allow anything to be manipulated right
It's
now.
not going to be manipulated.
We're
It's
going
under
to get
custody
back to you right now, okay?
Kirsty's in her custody right now.
I have a psychologist appointment tomorrow. Do you not understand that?
We do understand that.
No, you don't.
You do this.
No, you don't.
Right
Okay.
now, our main
But I
priority is
am nurse, so-
investigating.
You just took it out of my phone. Out of my hand.
I did,
Okay.
yes.
Search
You
warrant
have
now.
your phone number.
We did.
So,
Oh, aren't you lovely?
so, okay, we'll be right back with you, okay? You go to the bathroom or anything?
What do you mean? I'm leaving.
Okay, or just sit tight, we'll come out here in a second.
No, I'm ready to go. You just took everything from me.
Yeah, come in here and sit and we'll talk.
You just took everything from me. You're trying to ruin my entire life.
No, actually, we're just trying to figure out what we got here. Come with me, come here. For 1 second.
No, literally, they're trying to ruin my life, babe.
Man, listen. Hey, listen to me. Look at me. Let's walk in here so we can talk, and I'm gonna answer
No,
your
you guys are
questions.
just taking.
Ma'am, listen to me. Now, do you want me to explain
Like, I'm
this?
not a human. That's just why they talk about y'all the way they talk about y'all.
Okay, and then I understand.
Because y'all don't treat us with respect.
Okay,
You don't
come
even
and ask
have
me.
proof or facts
Ma'am.
or anything, and you're treating me like that. How dare
Come
you?
in and have a seat.
So disrespectful.
Listen.
Seriously, it's so disrespectful.
All right, I'll get something for you. Now listen. Okay, you know. Okay, let me grab something to clean that up.
Somehow, Kirsty appeared more upset about her phone being confiscated compared to the real reason she was there in the first place. However, while Kirsty was being questioned, Jeffrey, who was in the next room, was confronted, and he explained how things had gone that evening until the point when Fallen began to act strangely.
We laid her down. She was fine. We stayed there for a few minutes to make sure that, she was okay.
Okay.
We laid her down, saw that she was okay, left out and went and smoked a cigarette. We both said, now let's smoke a cigarette. I said, let's go, when we get done smoking the cigarette, let's go check on Fallon. I'm worried about it. We were both worried about it. She said, we both agreed. We got done smoking the cigarette. I don't know how much time elapsed since then, honestly. No more than 10 minutes, probably 10 or 15 minutes. Can't be no longer than that. So we went back in there, and she was in the same position that we had laid her in on her side, and but she wasn't making any the noise that we had heard from her before. She wasn't doing anything. So I checked her pulse. She grabbed her. She sat her up. We tried to wake her up. She wouldn't wake up. I checked her pulse. She had a pulse. Tried to get her mouth to mouth because I could tell that it was like she had shallow. It was really, I could barely feel it. You know what I mean? So we're getting her mouth to mouth. We don't know how to get mouth to mouth. We should have taken that class, and we said we were going to take that class too before Holden was born about the CPR, but we didn't know what we were doing, man. So we put her in the bathtub, trying to shock her into waking up. in that situation, I don't know how to handle anything, man. I've never been in a situation like that.
I get it, man. It's scary. It's scary as hell.
And it's not even my kid, you know what I mean? So that makes
I get it. The first time I had to do CPR on a kid, it wasn't my kid. Man, it jacked me up.
Yeah, I don't want to, you know your own strength when you're in a situation like that. So you don't want, I was terrified. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. But
okay, so
we put her in the bathtub. She didn't respond to the bathtub. She was only in there for like 15, 20 seconds maybe. Got her out. I said, let's call 911. Called 911 immediately. The lady walked us through how to give CPR, and then you guys showed up.
Even after being told the extent of Fallen's injuries, Jeffrey offered no explanation for what had happened, instead insisting that there was no way Kirsty could have been responsible.
Like she's getting beat or something? Is that?
It looks like it.
Sir, I'm not just trying to stick up for my fiance because it's my girl and my baby and my mother or anything like that. This girl does not lay her hands on these children. I can tell you that. I promise you that. I've been a witness to this, to her being a mother to her daughter since she was 1, and I've not seen her spank her not one time. So with these injuries, I don't know what happened with Fallon. We love Fallon like she's our only little girl. Like, I can show you pictures where we spend time with her like she's our own kid. So this is completely baffling to me. I don't know where that would come from or how or anything like that. I know that she was sick and her family or her father her stepdad was sick or whatever. That's the only thing I know.
Yeah. Well, sickness wouldn't cause the injuries that she has. And you say you never saw Kirsty ever smack, hit, anything to a kid? None of your children never saw her hit Fallon?
Well, Holman's only 8 months old, so but Harper, like I said, sir, that's not my kid. So I don't discipline, I don't do anything like that. I let her handle it because I feel like that's right.
Fair enough, I'd probably do the same thing.
She grounds her, she takes away things. She may yell at her, she may curse at her, but I've never seen her lay her hands on her, not one time.
Yeah.
Not in the almost 4 years that I've known.
And you weren't home when Fallon actually got there this morning, right? You were already at work.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Not long after, the detectives came back to deliver the unsettling news of Fallen's death, hoping it would finally get him to tell the truth.
He is now deceased. And I think now's the time. If there's information that we know that has not been told to us, now's the time. Because it's now or never.
Oh, man.
She is dead. And this time, I'm not bullshit. She's down at the morgue right now.
Despite everything, Jeffrey, like Kirsty, maintained that he knew nothing about what happened to Fallen. With no solid evidence against them at the time, the couple was released until the following day when Kirsty was called back for a more casual interview.
What?
Did they give you a property receipt?
They just did it.
That's cool. You know.
I think they handed me a warrant when I was in the house.
It's cool. Yeah, I was wondering if they gave you a property receipt.
Okay. Okay.
I'll be back with your phone in a minute.
She's on face, I think, crying on holiday.
She believed she was there to retrieve her phone, but she quickly realized it was something entirely different.
Was she pretty picky eater?
She clearly only ate candy and just So at my house, we eat real food.
Yeah.
You know? We try and incorporate all the, the grain, the veggie, the meat, the pricing, all that. We try to do all that.
Yeah.
And apparently the sergeant said she had like a carrot lodged down her throat, or in her esophagus or something. I don't know, if it's because she just really didn't want to eat it. I don't know. But the fact that like all of that accumulated, that's impossible to accumulate that fast. I'm sorry, but it is.
What do you mean?
All this stuff that detective said happened, with her. He said that she has like a brain something. laceration of the spleen. Also, the people, this is too loose, on the recording line, I am not CPR certified, but they made me give her CPR for about 8 minutes straight like this. 2 inches deep. She's flat on your back. She's 2. Yeah. You don't do that with a 2-year-old, and I didn't think about that till later. You're supposed to flip them over and you're supposed to hit them around the back. There's a reason for it. The 2 little right there.
Kirsty had now changed her story about what caused Fallen's death for what felt like the upteenth time, and yet, again, shifted the blame to the 911 operator. But as the interview progressed, she soon made a shocking revelation.
But no there was internal whatever. No Yeah. You know what I mean? And my mom brought that up. My mom was like, you don't give CPR to a baby like that. You don't do that. You lift them up and you do behind the back like this. That's how you get it out of them. You don't do it like that. So whoever that professional was on the phone needs to know that.
You think that's how they're saying that the internal injuries?
That's the only thing I could think of. Like they said something about her stomach.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but the thing is they say go between the nipples, right? Okay. So when you're 2 years old, it's just kind of like there's not a lot of area right there. Right. So I am 200 pounds. She said to get over her like this, you know, and full force, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches like that.
So like when they say 2 inches, you mean like push down, so it goes down 2 inches? Oh, okay.
Hold on.
Oh, like.
They wanted me to like plop it, and I'm like, I am not. I mean, I didn't stop. Yeah. I wasn't gonna stop. I was gonna do whatever I had to do. Yeah. But I'm like, something is not right about this. And then when I would blow the air in her, I would hear this noise in her stomach.
Oh, okay.
And then I would do it again, and it'd be like this, like I don't know what it was, fluid, if what it was. And then she'd go. I mean, it was traumatizing.
I was just gonna say that's really traumatic.
And I had to like literally put her in the tub for a second, cold water, maybe shock her toes, something. That she had to lay like this.
She just laying there.
Nothing. And so we immediately called 911 after that. We were like, no, we just.
But shockingly, when investigators searched Kirsty's phone, they found in her search history, I hit my child and feel guilty. What does it mean to have a sudden urge to beat a child that's not yours, and what type of people enjoy abusing other people's children? This discovery painted a clearer picture of what might have happened, but what really hit the nail on this case was an interview the detectives had with Kirsty's neighbor, Alexis Flowers, before this interrogation.
What did you hear?
Baby crying. It was a boom. It was a big noise. It was a large noise because my neighbor called me and asked if I heard it. I said, yeah. I just didn't know what it was. And I took a nap. I woke up. The next thing I know, the ambulance and the police was downstairs. And then next thing after that, a couple of minutes, I want to say she called my phone and she was screaming, crying. And I was just like, calm down. What happened? I thought it was her daughter or her baby because her baby's always sick. So I thought, it was her baby. And then she said, no, it was the little girl. And then I just was like, oh, my gosh. And then she hung up. And then she called back a little bit later and asked if I could keep her kids. And then I went downstairs. And the boyfriend brought out the baby to me first, and then he came upstairs and brought the little girl. But yeah, I heard the baby crying. I mean, like screaming, crying. You could definitely hear it.
Do you recall about what time that was?
I really honestly don't, because I got off work at 4. I went to get my tires. No, I got off work at 3. I went to get my tires fixed. I got back at 5, and I was just in my room. And I heard her yelling and stuff.
You heard who yelling?
Kirsty. You can hear her yelling. You can hear her. She has a loud voice. So you can always hear her when she's like yelling at the kids.
During the interview, Alexis revealed that she had a history of troubling behavior with Kirsty, including slashing her tires during an argument and repeatedly calling the cops on her over trivial matters. However, as she shared more details, Alexis soon confirmed what detectives had suspected all along.
Now, what you guys put on the news is what she deserves. And the reason I'm telling you this is because when she called me, she told me a whole totally different story from what I read and from what my boyfriend said. So it's 3 different stories being tossed around. The story she told me was a little girl fell on and hit her head. That was probably the boom, right? The little girl fell and hit her head, and then she's choked on a carrot. Well, I have 3 children of myself, and I have twins. And I'm 34, and I'm not stupid. So there's no way, in my eyes, a 2-year-old is going to die from a carrot and hitting their head. No, it's no way. So she told me that. And then she started crying, and she said she hit her. She was like, I hit her because she wasn't listening. She said I gave her a spanking because she wasn't listening. And then she hung up. That's the story she told me.
And
so then when her boyfriend...
This was the day all this happened.
This was a 7-minute call. I sent the screenshot to Officer Myers. So
Okay.
that particular call was 7 minutes long. The next call she called me, told me, she was just like, hey, I need you to get the kids for me, please, and tell my mom. That call lasted, I think, 2-3 minutes. It was very quick. And then she texted me in jail.
She did?
Yeah, because I had her baby, and I texted her. I said, hey, is your baby sick? Because the baby kept coughing, and I'm paranoid at this point because I had to be at work in the morning, and I was asleep already. And now I'm watching a baby that's 6 months, and the baby has a helmet on, and the baby's coughing, and it was crying. So I was just kind of trying to figure out how to comfort the baby or figure out what steps I needed to take. So I texted her, and I said, hey, is your baby, And then she waited an hour to text me back. When she texted me back, she was like, they're trying to pin this on me. And they said the girl had, internal bleeding and fracture. Well, that's probably where that big boom came from.
With this, a new, more official-looking detective arrived, hoping he could get Kirsty to confess. But instead of cooperating, that was when Kirsty decided she had enough.
Kirsty.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
My hot son. Here you go.
Listen, I'm Detective Mike Burson. I'm kind of assisting in this whole case.
I thought I was just here to keep our phone.
You are. And I ran down there, and they just about got your phone. You didn't have a property receipt, so it's kind of hard to find it. When you have a property receipt, they can pull it that quick. So it's just going to take a couple minutes, okay?
I'm so exhausted.
I know.
Mentally. You don't understand. My heart hurts so bad. Go ahead.
I understand. I really do. And I want to make this as fast as I can, okay? All right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, listen, just because we're gonna
I have a lawyer. Do you need to talk to him? I'm not supposed to talk to anybody.
So you're not going to talk to me?
I mean, it just depends what we're going to talk about. I just spent a lot of money on a lawyer for a reason.
Okay, so you have a lawyer.
The lady made me feel like I was somebody I am not, and I'm not going to be made to feel that way ever again. So my lawyer, that's why I got a lawyer, the way he treated me last night.
Okay, so what you're telling me, you retained a lawyer, correct?
I'll give you his phone number.
Okay, no, that's okay. Okay, then I can't talk to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, all right. I mean, that's
He has all the live footage and everything, too.
No, I saw the live footage, but no, if you have a lawyer...
You saw it was great, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I can't talk to you anymore now since you got a lawyer,
But I'm just saying, sir, please, take into consideration how much I love this baby.
Believe me, from what I saw, I fully understand, Kirsty. I really do. Okay. All right. Sit tight. We'll get you out of here, okay?
And just like that, the interrogation came to an end. However, with the evidence gathered against her, combined with the witness statements, the detectives had more than enough to move forward, especially our main detective, who came back to the scene to beautifully incarcerate Kirsty.
All right, Kirsty, just swing over here this way. Just move your legs out this way.
Why?
Because I gotta put this on you. Okay?
Why?
Because
I have not. No. You're not about to jam me up right now without. No. I never gave you any information about my lawyer. So you can't detain me.
Yeah, we can. You're under arrest.
For what?
You're under arrest.
For what? For what? For what?
Bring it in and show you the ones
Under arrest.
You're under arrest.
For what?
I'll show you the ones in there. Once we get you secured.
I need my phone and my lawyer. Right now.
You'll have that opportunity.
Right now. That's why I came here, was for my phone. Y'all actually just entrapped me, is what you just did.
That's actually not called entrapment.
That is entrapment, because Officer Myers just said I would not be getting locked up the minute I walk in here to get my phone. That's entrapment. I know my laws.
Well, you obviously don't.
That's entrapment. He literally just said he would not be locking me up. That's what he just said.
That is not the
And my children are at home.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're with defects with your mom. They're not with you.
Excuse me, you're not about to pull my leg like that. You need to chill. Okay? Where is Jeff? In my car and everything else that I own that's outside.
Still outside.
Where's he?
Jeff's in the lobby.
Does he know that you're arresting me?
Not yet. He'll know here in a minute.
Hello. That's why you smiled.
Why did I smile?
Oh, get it now.
Later, detectives combed through Kirsty's surveillance footage and uncovered disturbing evidence of how Although Jeffrey appeared on video interacting with Fallen in a loving manner, he had a duty to protect the child from the assault and intervene on her behalf. However, due to his inaction, the baby sustained multiple injuries that resulted in her death. As a result, he was charged with cruelty to children and second-degree murder. In the end, Kirsty was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, while Jeffrey was sentenced to 15 years in prison. If you enjoyed my video and how I explain the case, please consider subscribing. It helps me a ton. I'll see you next time.